What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Raw and Relentless. Had my buddy Adam Carswell on. I've known Adam for a few years, and we just recently reconnected. Adam's got so much cool stuff going on, but Adam's biggest thing, is, besides his music, is he's part of Raise Masters, which is a huge group for me to be a part of when I first started D3 Capital, to be able to go out and raise money for a lot of these investments that we're looking at getting into. So check out Adam. I'll have all of his contact info in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy the show. We're going to start recording, and we're just going to wing it, and we're just going to see where this goes, man. What's up, buddy?
Sounds good. What's up, dude? I'm pumped to be here.
Dude, I'm so stoked that you're on.
Officially. You what?
I'm so stoked that you're on because I was on your podcast. What is that? It's got to be at least 3 years ago now.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been probably about 2021.
Yeah.
I think.
That's when me and you were like big into crypto and stuff.
I still have a soft spot for crypto.
Do you?
I understand everyone's skepticism, but you know, I still buy and hold.
It's definitely not what it was a few years ago, right?
No, I mean, I remember 2017, I want to say, is when I first really started getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And like any 20-year-old investing for the first time in the year 2017, I kind of went through an experience that's pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
In the world of crypto, many say you went to the moon, but I went to the moon and then I came back.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like not by choice, but it's just kind of,
Yeah.
You keep seeing that price go up. You're like, oh, I'm going to be rich forever.
Right. Right.
So you learn your lessons along the way, and that did change my crypto strategy up until now, which is just buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, don't look at it. That's kind of how I view it.
I don't even know where's Bitcoin at right now.
To validate my point, buy it and I don't even look at it. I think it's got to be somewhere between let's say 45K and 70K.
Well,
That's actually, you know what? Let's check.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check out Bitcoin.
I know there's a bunch of noise now
Price.
Because Trump and a bunch of
66.5,
politicians
man.
are
Almost 66.6.
Yep. Yeah, I know someone who was at I don't know if you saw the highlights of the Bitcoin conference that was just in Nashville. Trump
Mm-hmm.
spoke at it.
Mm-hmm.
And
RFK.
Bro, I think you and I, RFK did speak too. Yeah, they both did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could, I'm down to get this political with this conversation.
Let's do
if
it,
you
man.
want to.
I love it.
My theory is I genuinely try to stay as unplugged from all of it as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I do find, on average, I tend to get along with Trump and RFK supporters more than the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is I just feel like I can be myself more around those people. I kind of feel like I'm around the politically correct police when I'm hanging out with someone who's too liberal.
Right.
But all that being said, I mean, eventually my worldview is at some point, even if someone loves Trump, I'll probably piss them off with how I view things, because it's just so non-government involved in anything I could possibly do that many would say it's, anarchist, or what I call anarcho-capitalist, which is how I found Hunter, which is how we met.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I don't think in all of my lifetime that politics in today's day and age has been so devising of people.
Yeah. It's being orchestrated that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it is interesting with the internet and how everything is at your fingertips. I'm of the belief that whoever is running the show, which I think you'd have to be in my opinion, you have to be ridiculous to honestly think that someone like Trump or Biden or Kamala or whatever, to think that they're actually running the show. There's layers to this game.
Yeah.
So whoever is running the show, I think that they're out of control too. There's just no way you can control tech, podcast, AI. I love Rogan's interview with RFK.
Mm-hmm.
I think RFK seems a little bit, liberal with some of his thoughts, but the fact that he just really exposed the entire vaccine industry on that interview, I was like, dang, all right.
And he's not the only one
good.
that Rogan has had on that has exposed not even the vaccine, but the whole pharmaceutical industry as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had some heavy hitters on there.
Mm-hmm.
RFK's was the one that I felt was the most, almost just the one that you would want to send to someone who tries to argue a different way that we see things.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how you can listen to the entire RFK one and not be like, whoa,
Yeah.
what have I been believing for years?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, totally.
So whoever's tuned in right now, take that as a reminder, call to action. You can pause ours, come back to ours after you watch it.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, speaking of Bitcoin, I saw a little video blurb yesterday of Tucker Carlson saying that the CIA is actually who invented Bitcoin and put it out there.
I've heard that. I know a lot of, libertarians, anarcho-capitalists, people who try to just completely stay unplugged from the entire system that would fight that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's we're at a point, Bo, where I think you would agree. It's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could kind of make sense, but it also doesn't. And at least in this very point in my life, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would hope that Tucker Carlson's wrong on that one, personally.
I was going to ask you this because RFK actually set up at the Bitcoin convention and said that he would direct Treasury to buy enough Bitcoin to equal the amount of gold in reserve. What do you think his thoughts are behind that economically? Because I know a lot of economists that think that Bitcoin is just it's just valueless because there's
Right.
nothing there. It's just a computer
Nothing backing
algorithm.
it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't even remember the last time I've done an interview or anything like this, so this is great. I'm mad we have a hard stop when this is over, but it is what it is.
We can always
So
do another one.
yeah, part 2. I think that with there's always going to be a guinea pig, and I think El Salvador did a great job showing what can happen if you legalize at least Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
There's some countries that have completely banned all cryptos, and it's funny. I know in particular there's a country of Nepal, which is a very
Mm-hmm.
kind of poor country.
Mm-hmm.
They have crypto banned, but through the crypto circles that I run in, some of the most active people I know live in Nepal. And I was like, dude, can't you like go to jail for what you're doing? And they're like, yeah, but no one's gonna do anything. Anyways, so I think El Salvador set an example for just what it can do for an economy. I think they had a huge. I mean, that was definitely a country that I think, as long as I've been alive, been viewed as somewhere you just really don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the last decade, even before Bitcoin, it really El Salvador made a comeback. And I know a lot of people that have been there that even have places there. So for the U.S. to come out and make a claim like this through Trump and RFK, I do believe it's only a matter of time. I do think I heard this was a long time ago, but I think it was like a quote from Warren Buffett, and somebody kind of asked him, why are all of your investments so heavily invested in the U.S.? And he's like, well, and this is not a direct quote. I just feel like I heard this somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind of like, well, I believe that U.S. politicians and whoever is really running the show here, eventually they're going to find enough levers to pull to keep the U.S. kind of in control.
Mm-hmm.
And people have been saying it for years after America came off, took the U.S. dollar off of gold and all these other things, and how the U.S. is over, the U.S. is going to crash. I think this is probably a move that was bound to happen, and it's going to keep the U.S. kind of in control of what goes on around the world, whether people like it or not. And I have a lot of ANCAP friends that if they heard me say that right now, they would disown me. But like, I don't know. I just don't know how you can argue it, especially when, I talk to some friends that I have that live in Europe or even Canada, for example, who say how America is the evil empire. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. But you are telling me that on your iPhone, which is headquartered in the U.S., right? So, there you go.
Ironically enough, you mentioned, coming off the gold standard, which we then transitioned to the dollar was kind of pegged against the oil. And now all of the oil countries, Middle East, have gone away from using US dollar for the trade of currency and of developing their own currency. So now, the dollar is, I'm no economist, right? I'm not a smart guy, but I mean, if everyone in the world is using the US dollar to transact, but now they're not. And then you got people like Trump and RFK, especially RFK, saying he's big on decentralized currency. No government loses its power when it doesn't control the currency, right? And so you
Any
have a
government,
double
really,
whammy
yeah.
here with not only going off gold standard, coming off of the oil standard as well, and then you're trying to push for decentralized currency and taking that power away from the treasury, away from the reserve. I mean, it's going to be very interesting the next 5 to 10 years.
100%. Yeah, I'm of the belief that Trump, RFK, or whoever, if they're talking about it, and other countries are already putting it to use as an example, it really is only a matter of time. And that'll probably be a window of prosperity that a lot of people, I do think, can capitalize on. But what will happen is, in my opinion, as time goes on, is government will figure out ways to control it. They'll figure out ways to popularize CBDCs, and just really find new ways to control the masses. I think a lot of people assume that because they're getting their news on Instagram or on Snapchat or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they assume that if they're getting their news through that instead of CBS or NBC, that they're not watching mainstream media.
Right.
Which I believe the mainstream media now, it really is all of these apps.
Yep.
And so,
I mean,
yeah.
Tucker Carlson just passed Joe Rogan for the number of listeners on Spotify. And Joe Rogan, his audience was equal to all of the major news networks combined.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, you know what? I did hear that once.
yeah.
That's crazy. So that's exciting to hear outside of a political perspective. For you, for me, as podcasters, and anyone who's tuned in right now who's thinking it's too late to start a podcast because everybody has a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still of the belief that we're like very early in this game. Talking and working with Hunter, he's been saying that for years. Like even in 2017 when I started my show, he was like, dude, there's just like this massive wave coming for the next 10 years. So the time is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the key is to just not, if you are a podcaster doing anything really content creation focused, if you can simply, I think the average podcast that exists right now has like 6 episodes or something like that. It's like 98% of all podcasts that exist only have like 6. So if you could just outlast, do 7 episodes, you're already beaten.
Yeah.
You're already in the 2%.
Yeah. I had Adrian Ray on yesterday.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wait, did I connect you guys, or did you guys just happen to?
We happen to, isn't that weird? We happen to connect from another channel, mutual friend. She's awesome. And I was actually telling her on our podcast that when I was in Raise Masters, Hunter told me back then in 2020, 2021, start a podcast. And I never did. And if I had done that, like, who knows what my network or what my, where my business would be at this point, because I would be, few hundred episodes in at this point, So I agree with you. Like, I think podcasting is, number one, it's a great marketing tool. Number two, it puts you up with people that are doing things of where you want to be or where you want to go. And so you can learn from these people. And that's really what I've been using this for, is just learning how people are doing what they're doing,
Networking is the greatest angle for it. MC Lobsher, which, do you know him by chance?
Mm-mm.
Cashflow Ninja. I'll have to connect you with him offline if you could just remind me. I think he's a great guest. He likes to talk too. So if you ever have him on, just let him rip because he spits fire. Okay. He's I think he's at 7 million total downloads on his show, closing in on episode 1,000. Very much, philosophically aligned with us. But no, there was a point that he made. What did you say right before I started bragging about it?
Just about how podcasting is great for networking, marketing, and learning.
Yes. His angle, and now he's kind of no longer in this role with how much he's learned, but he's like, if you start a podcast and you just remember your whole goal of hosting the show is to be the guide
Mm.
and show people what's going on and what you're learning along the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that long enough, eventually you just kind of become the master of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever your show is about.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, that's how I started my show. He's like, I just wanted to learn all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave me a chance to interview people I would never be able to talk to.
Yeah.
And it just validates exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you with your communication skills too, which is like very underrated in how powerful communication is.
Very underrated. That's a skill that I'm trying to really, really work on because I'm a very reserved guy. I'm quiet, you know. But yeah, absolutely. I think communication is huge, huge part of anything in life, right? Relationships, business,
Exactly.
all of that.
Myron Golden, it's funny, I could call him a famous YouTuber now, but when I first met him, he might have had like 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. He was more just like a business and sales coach. And he talks about, and if you look him up, he's got probably like 500,000 subscribers on YouTube now, but he talks about the 4 levels of value. It's implementation, unification, communication, and imagination, and how, again, like 99% of the population only exists on those first 2 levels. Implementation is you're using your hands to make money. You could be flipping burgers at McDonald's. You could be, you know, working at a Rolls Royce auto body shop.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you're kind of capped out at maybe 6 figures tops when you're working with your hands, because working with your hands is really not spiritual in nature. Once you get to unification, okay, now you're managing the people that do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for whatever reason, requires the way he frames it is great, but it's like just a different level of spirit. But then there's this gap. And the next level is communication. And when you're using your mouth, your voice to make money, that's when you start getting into a realm where you can kind of just paint and control your own destiny, whether you're an A-list actor or singer, songwriter, or speaker, you know, business coach, whatever. When you're using your communication skills to make money, that's when you can break into that 7-figure, 8-figure range. And then the last level, imagination, is, you know, the metaphor comparison that he uses. Someone like Steve Jobs, or maybe an Elon Musk, someone who clearly is living in a realm where, like, not only communication, but the ideas that they're creating are controlling their destiny. But the only way you can really get to that imagination level is to go through communication, so you can free up that time, so that way you're not managing people or, you know, physically doing labor. So yeah, I always just love that metaphor, the 4 levels of value. And then obviously there's a bonus level. There's a 5th level of value, which is just having money, having capital.
Yep.
Because if you have money,
you can do whatever the fuck you
that
want.
kind of makes everything else a little bit easier too.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. I mean, the biggest motto that they say in business is you should be working on the business, not in the business, right? 30,000 foot view, always trying to figure out how to, you know, scale, grow, all of that stuff. Because if you're constantly in the business, like you said, working with your hands, doing those things, then you're just going to be always in the rat race, you know?
I think as a leader of the company, sometimes it's inspiring to anyone who might be on the implementation level, say if you have employees, to see you in there actually, you know, cleaning the toilets every now and then. It keeps you humble and lets them know that you care.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't be living there full time.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because a lot of times, like, I don't get to do it as much anymore because I'm just so busy. But, you know, when I do have the chance, I'll pick up a mop or I'll pick up the floor scrubber, like, say, in the gym, if I'm in the gym, and I'll start working on the floors, and I'll have members come up to me like, why are you doing that? That's what you got staff for. I'm like, I don't think you understand how this is the best part of the job, because it's the easiest thing to do, and it brings value, and it doesn't require a lot of brain power or muscle power, you know? So I actually,
It can be meditative.
It is. Yes, man. I actually enjoy doing it. I don't like doing the urinals, but I'll do all the other stuff.
Someone else. Anyways, I guess we should do just a quick, I'm sure you have it somewhere on the show, but we got to do a plug for Bo's Gym, guys. I have not been to it yet, but it's been a while since we connected, and I was just looking at pictures of it and everything that you've done to get it where it's at. I was like, that it's just very impressive. It's very impressive. So I got to
Thanks,
get to
man.
Northwest Indiana at some point.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, we did a massive renovation last year. I mean, massive, massive renovation. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, we got to get you out. Did you end up moving to Florida, or where are you at now?
Yeah, we did. And then while we were there, we found out we had another baby on the way. And Florida, don't get me wrong, Florida was great. I do think we'll actually probably move back there at some point. But for the sake of having kids and being closer to both sides of our family, we decided to move back to Canada. So we're in like the Toronto area now,
Okay.
which is cool. I mean, that's what I told my wife was like, if we're going to go back to Canada, I just want to be somewhere where like exciting things are happening.
Yeah.
And Toronto's a pretty cool city, I'm not gonna lie. So we're up here now, but a lot of people do drive from where we're at down to
Yes.
Chicago
Yeah.
pretty often. So I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll swing through at some point.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. How's Raise Masters going, man? You guys have really grown that. I see you guys everywhere now.
Yeah, nice. You know, you're a founding father, and we'll welcome you back. Welcome you back with open arms whenever you're ready. No,
Yeah.
things are. It's an interesting time for sure, though. Like when we launched, let me just say, this actually could explain everything I'm going to say in one sentence. When we launched, interest rates were a lot lower.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just like
Yes.
any business, right now is an interesting time.
Yep.
I would say, thankfully, especially being in real estate, but given the market dynamics and the numbers that we are putting up monthly, it's you got to give credit where credit is due. The team that Hunter has really built, including myself, over the last 5 years, that's why we continue to thrive in a real estate kind of focused mastermind in the middle of a recession.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, things are good. And if anyone tuned in right now wants to, just learn more about really the art and science of raising capital, it doesn't have to be for real estate assets. It could be for, we've had people join for buying gym franchises and things along those lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, art and science of raising capital. That's what we do. And really, in my opinion, the biggest takeaway is the network.
Yeah. You are 100% right about that is an art about raising capital. And you're right. It's not just for real estate. I mean, everyone raises capital for something when they're in business. It doesn't matter the business. There's always some type of cap raise. Even if you're going to the bank, right? That's kind of a form of raising capital in a way. I mean, yes, it's debt, but you're using capital, right? And right now,
A lot of people don't realize,
yeah,
just what you can do with private investors as
Mhm.
opposed to traditional lending.
Mm-hmm. Totally. There's a lot of dry powder sitting on the sidelines right now too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There is right now. I mean, I think the next 12 months are gonna still be a bit rocky, but
Mm-hmm.
you see articles of, and I can't remember if it was Blackstone or BlackRock, but companies like this who just have like 66 billion ready to put into stuff.
Yeah.
The little fish will follow the whales.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think we have officially hit the bottom. It's just like how quickly are we going to bounce back now? Probably not until after this political
Yeah.
nonsense is over, so they can crown someone as the reason why
Mhm.
it all came back.
Do you think we've hit bottom?
I do, really, for one reason, and this is kind of how I feel like I've always lived my life. I am not an analytical person by nature. At least I'm not analytical when it comes to like Google Sheets and
Mhm.
tracking data like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel as though I'm analytical when it comes to choosing who I want to believe. And I heard Hunter mention recently that there's some things that he's seen lately and some conversations that he's had lately that makes him think we have bottomed out. And he would say the same thing. You don't know how fast, even though it hit the bottom, we don't know how fast we're going to bounce back.
Mhm.
But it does seem like a bottom has been hit
Mm-hmm.
from a lot of conversations he's been having.
Okay.
So, all right. I trust that.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that the rate where rates are at are really going to dictate what's going to happen with the economy, right?
it's crazy. Like it is pretty wild how that one stat,
Hmm.
like interest rates, really does kind of control everything.
Yeah.
How people move,
Yeah.
transact.
We've been
It's
spoiled,
messed up.
man. We've been spoiled with rates at 3%, 3.5% for many, many years. I don't think rates have been this high since
There.
probably early 2000s, late 90s.
Right. Well, the biggest mirage I think a lot of us got hit by. And if you've been through a few cycles or recessions, or at least one before, like I know you got a few years on me, so I don't. Were you? How old were you in like the '08 crisis?
I was 28, and I was around for the tech
28.
bubble too. So,
Oh, okay.
hmm
All right, so you've seen it. Um, yeah, I think that the whole world kind of assumed that COVID was the black swan and recession event that was going to happen,
hmm
and clearly it wasn't.
yeah,
It was what happened after COVID that really has
hmm
hit everyone pretty hard.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I talked about it actually in my first episode. How the gym industry as a whole was hit very hard with COVID because we were shut down and people didn't find value in working out, and they felt that gyms were very dirty and you're close to everybody, you're sweating next to everybody. And I still know gyms to this day that that still are not doing the numbers that they were doing pre-COVID. I'm not. I don't have nowhere near the amount of members that I had pre-COVID. We're still
Sure.
trying to recover from that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a bounce back that needs to happen. And with I don't know, you for gyms in particular, you think of at least I think of stuff like Peloton and a lot of
Mm.
the hybrid offers that people have now. But I don't know. I mean, I remember hearing MC Lobsher actually, who we were just talking about from the Cashflow Ninja, mentioning that he was, and this was like 2020. He was like the tourism industry isn't really going to be back in full swing until 2024 at the earliest. And I remember hearing that in 2020. I was like, thinking to myself, like, no, please don't say that. That can't be true. Uh, but it seems to be pretty accurate, and stuff like the gym kind of goes hand in hand, in my opinion, with that because it's like people just getting out of the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I'm pulling for you. I definitely want gyms to make a comeback as well.
Yeah, they'll get there. It one thing that happened is there was a huge reset when it came to gyms, right? I think the number was something like 10 or 12,000 gyms ended up shutting down during COVID permanently.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was a huge market correction because it got to the point where gyms started to be like Walgreens and CVS. There was one on every single corner.
True.
So that was almost a market correction as well. But market correction, however, there was a lot of gyms that again still aren't doing the numbers that they were doing pre-COVID. So that's very
Yeah.
interesting. So that tells me that, and what we're also seeing in the gym industry is your average age of your member has gone down significantly. So before, my average age of my members was like 39, 40 years old. Now it's more like 30 to 31. So there's a much younger demographic that's joining. The older demographic is choosing to stay home and not work out or work out at home.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. You would think it would be the other way around
You would
almost for
think.
just because technology.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any I guess hybrid offers or classes that people can
Hmm.
take from home?
Not home, no, but I mean, we do offer classes, when you do personal training, small group training, all of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it's not just me because I'm part of a roundtable that's other gyms across the US, and they're all saying the same exact thing. The average age has gone down, and people are not working out as much as they used to. So, and I think that the other big reason why you're seeing a younger demographic in the gym is Instagram, TikTok, all of your fitness influencers that have their tripods set up in gyms. That's what's
Yeah,
attracting
yeah.
all those people.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Hmm.
Um, wow. Well, it's I mean, it's a good thing, right? Because I guess you do want younger members the chance of them living and staying
Yeah,
around a little bit longer. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, a big a big word that's come up in Raise Masters lately is the word outlast.
Mm.
And that's kind of the environment I think we're in right now. I would just say across the board. I was talking to some marketing coaches the other day too, and they actually said the exact same thing, that they heard and they believe that where we're at right now, it's just going to come down to who can keep running
Mm.
the longest,
Hmm.
who can keep the lights on. Like you said, like what 10 to 12,000 gyms in the past 4 years shutting down, or even more, whatever. It's like right now the game is outlast. Do you ever watch the show Survivor?
Yeah.
What?
Hmm.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself like an actual like viewer, or like you've just kind of like skimmed
Just
through
skim
it?
through it. Yeah.
I've been I've been on it lately. I never watched it my whole life, and my mother-in-law actually got me into it. And my wife and I watch. They have like seasons, I don't know, 30 through 46 on Paramount Plus,
Hmm.
and so we binge watch the show now. And I've been on a reality TV show before, not like Survivor, but one that put a bad taste in my mouth because I noticed this isn't really real. Like, it's real people kind of being instructed what to do, so that way it
Mm.
appears real.
Mm.
That was my take from my experience. So
Hmm.
I was like, reality TV sucks. But then I started watching Survivor, and I'm like, okay, this is reality TV, but you can tell the way things are playing out for all of these people,
Hmm.
they really have no idea like what's going to happen or who's going to win or whatever. And so because of that, it makes me feel like I'm actually watching a sport that's a little bit, a Hollywood version of a sport.
Gotcha.
So I've really enjoyed, grown to like it. And so after watching like 6 seasons of it now, it's outwit, outlast, and outplay. That's like the motto of the show.
Yeah.
And we're in the outlast phase of the market.
That's
So everyone go check it out. Go watch Survivor. It's a good show.
it's true though. It really is. Yeah, it is about outlasting. It's about putting in the reps. It's about just keep doing it when it sucks and keep pushing forward. Wait, how did I not know this? What reality show were you on?
It was I don't even know if this channel exists anymore. For about 10 years, there was like a smaller channel that people could watch called
Yep.
Reels Network.
Yeah.
Reels was known for cultivating shows that would kind of go to the next level.
Mhm.
So there was like one or two shows on Reels out of, I don't know, at least 50 that actually got popular over the years. The one that I was on was one of the ones that basically just did one season and it was over. So from square one, like I'm from a city in Ohio, Painesville, Ohio, about 30 minutes east of Cleveland. I've always had fun creating content, doing, especially in college. My friends and I, we would just do like stupid, typical college
Mhm.
videos. We would do music videos, like cover music videos to songs that we like. And then one day we decided to just make our own like anthem for the city that we were from. So we made a Painesville, you look it up, Painesville, Ohio official music video. Some of it does make me cringe looking back on it, but I'm still kind of proud of it. And I guess there's a polka band, like
Yeah.
polka
Uh-huh.
music in Chardon, Ohio, which is about, I don't know, 15 minutes from Painesville. And Reels Network, apparently whoever ran Reels Network at the time was a huge fan of polka music, and so he wanted a polka reality TV show to be featured on Reels. So they did this nationwide search to see what polka band could they find that's kind of like eclectic and just different, kind of like a Weird Al style
Mhm.
almost. And they chose the Chardon Polka Band. So about, I don't know, 6 months to a year after we made this music video for Painesville, we're at a gas station and some in Chardon, and some guy comes up to my brother and I was like, are you guys the Rockin' Painesville guys from the video? And we're like, hell yeah. He's like, can I get a picture with you guys? We're like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. So, we got our first celebrity picture there, and I guess I guess this guy sends a picture to the lead singer of the Chardon Polka Band, and he's like, hey, I just met like the Painesville rappers or whatever. And so we didn't know this, but the Chardon Polka Band actually loved our music video for whatever
Mm.
reason. And so when they were producing the show, or on the show, the producers came to him and said, hey, is there any other local artists that you guys would like to collaborate with preferably local artists that aren't really similar to polka.
Mm.
And I guess they told the producers, like, we would love to do something with the Painesville rappers.
Oh my God.
So we get a cold DM, I'll never forget, on Twitter in like 2013 from someone who also, I remember, they're following like 8,000 people and they have like 200 followers, and it's like, all right, is this like a scam or
Mhm.
what? Which is like, hey, we want you guys to like be on this reality TV show. If you're down, let us know. We can meet you in Painesville somewhere. And I hit up my brother and my friend in the video. I'm like, whatever, like we might as well just go check it out. And we show up at this restaurant to shoot kind of day one of us being on the show. And there's a big camera. Like as soon as we walked in the doors, we're like, oh wow, this is real. This is actually a reality TV show. So we were on 2 out of 8 episodes of that show, Polka Kings. And the reason we were there was we made a song with the polka band.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of, to say what I was saying earlier, they kind of steered us in a certain direction to make sure that we acted and said certain things in a certain way. But yeah, we ended up making a polka electronic rap song with that, basically.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's so cool.
Yeah, and then they get you good. Like you don't realize, especially I don't know, I was like 23 or 24. We all made this song. And we sign off on it, and basically by signing off on it, it's like, all right, wait, we don't own any of this anymore.
Yep.
Everything we just made is completely owned
Yep.
by Reels Network.
Yep.
So, but whatever. We got to do it. We performed it live in front of like, I don't know, 50 people, which was cool. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea. Adam the rapper.
Yeah, I've got I remember, so we had to be careful with this for a while because Reels was really strict about distributing the content
Mhm.
outside of their control. But now we're 10 years since this happened. So if you or anyone tuned in right now wants to see really the one episode of the show that we were on 2 episodes, but it was really just one that we were the main focus, I'm happy to send that to whoever wants to check
Is it on
out.
YouTube or anything?
I have it on my Google Drive. So
Okay.
like, just shoot me your email and I'll like share it with you
Okay.
or whatever.
Maybe we'll put that as B-roll on this podcast.
Yeah, hey, I think we're past the level of well, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Part of it does make me wonder, will Reels like come out of the grave
Sure.
and like come for me? I don't know. That's what they try to scare you into that. So if you're willing to take that risk, then sure, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Listen, I know you gotta fly. But we got to do another one, man, because there's still so much more that we could talk about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this too. I don't know if the vibe that you're going for is to really be more conversational, kind of like a Rogan-esque show, but I always love this style of interview.
Yeah, I mean, I think conversational or just educational. Either way, you're going to learn something, right? In either fashion. So, yeah, it goes either way for me.
Yeah, good to reconnect, and
Yeah, man.
I'll be sending people your way. One thing I'll say, too, I would want everyone to go check out, and this is more of a recent passion. It's something that I've always wanted to do since I was like 13, but I didn't take it serious until I hit about 30. I'm 33 right now, but I'm producing and creating electronic music.
Oh.
Which from my story of the polka band, like that kind of validates it. I look back to those days and I was playing around with like, it's called FL Studio.
Mhm.
Just tinkering around with making electronic music for years. And then I got to a point after I got married where I just even told my wife, I'm like, look, I know we're going to have kids one day. And if I get to be 50 and I can never look back and say that I really gave it my all to be good at making electronic music, then I'll probably be mad at myself.
Sure.
And so I found an academy that I really liked, an online school to help you just get good at making music. And similar to Raise Masters, like my biggest takeaway from doing that whole academy was just the network. I'm connected to so many, DJs and producers now. So, fast forward, I signed up in the fall of 2021, right when I was hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And from the fall of last year, 2023, was when my first record got signed. I've had maybe 8 or 9 signed in the last less than 12
That's
months,
awesome.
and I just don't see it slowing down. It's so much fun,
That's
and it's
awesome.
like I just know other producers and DJs that it's kind of for them, it's like their full-time gig,
Yeah.
and that could be fun, but I see how tight things can get for them at times. Like some of them get to a point where like they have to take a gig to like pay the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just grateful I don't have to do that. It's
Mm-hmm.
really nice to have as like a side dish with
Yeah.
everything else that I'm doing.
Hell yeah. So where can people find you, find your music, find Raise Masters, anything, all of that stuff?
Yeah,
Where do you
all
want people
everything
to
we
go?
talked about. Oh, no. Best way for Raise Masters, I'll give you 3. 1, LinkedIn. Can't go wrong with LinkedIn. Just hit me up, get connected with me there. Number 2, if you just go to raisemasters.com,
Mm-hmm.
you can sign up for more information there. And who knows, we might end up on the phone together at some point. And then number 3 is my artist's name is General Moses. And so if you just look me up on Spotify or Instagram, General Moses 9, that's where I'm most active with
Okay.
that stuff currently.
I'll be sure to include that in the show notes. That's awesome. I love it.
Sweet.
Dude, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on. We definitely got to do another one. I miss chatting it up with you.
Absolutely, Bo. Great to be
All right, buddy. Peace.